Okay, if you want to start brewing coffee at home, I beg you to invest seriously in this most two important thing, which is the knowledge about the grind size and the grinder. Hey everyone, welcome back to Chemicafia. If you are new here, I'm Firza, a chemist by profession and a coffee enthusiast by passion. So in this series, the Manual Brew Fundamentals, we break down coffee brewing through a scientific lens to help you make a better coffee at home. And today, we're talking about one of the most underrated yet most impactful variables in coffee brewing, which is the grind size. Back when I first got into the coffee world around 2017, there wasn't much access to information about how crucial the grind size is. I was also limited by the great capable manual grinders available at the time for homebrewers. Yes, the Comandante C40 exists, but it wasn't affordable enough for a college guy living in Indonesia like me at the time. So yeah. And for years, honestly, I didn't think it mattered that much. But after years of learning, years of experimenting, I realized that grind size is the most powerful variables in brewing. And in this video, I'll show you why. So there are 5 key reasons why grind size should be your main focus when dialing in your brew. So the first key is the grind size is the variable that dictates how we brew. Your grind size literally dictates how you brew your coffee. A coarse grind works great for immersion brew like French press, aerial switch, or the AeroPress because of the long steeping time allows for full extraction of the coffee grounds. And a fine grind is very necessary for the espresso, where the water passes through quickly under the pressure. And for most percolation style brew or pour over, the grind size determines how fast or slow the water flows through the coffee pad, which directly affect the contact time and extraction. For instance, the most common pour over default grind size recommendation falls between medium or medium fine. And if you choose to grind your coffee using the medium fine setting, it automatically specifies the brewing process. In this case, you might want to use fewer pours unless it could potentially over-extract the coffee's flavor, which end up makes your brew taste bitter and dry. On the other hand, if you decide to grind your coffee coarser, for instance to medium or medium coarse, it requires more pour during the brewing process. If you don't, you might end up with a weaker cup of coffee. The coarser the grind, the more kinetic and thermal energy is required to extract coffee's flavor from the bed. This concept relates to agitation and temperature, which we'll explore in another video later in this series. By understanding this dictation concept, then you can construct your own brewing recipe because you know what to do with the exact grind size you have. So, I mentioned a lot about medium fine, or coarse, and blah blah blah. Then comes the next problem for the grind size. How fine or how coarse I should grind for my brew then? How can I replicate the recipe available on the internet accurately at home? Yes, it is the most challenging part in coffee brewing world, and here are the next keys about the grind size, which is the microns, help us to communicate the grind size a bit easier. One of the biggest challenges in coffee brewing is accurately communicating the appropriate grind size. Expressing medium or fine is subjective. What constitutes medium on one grinder may be fine on another. That's why using microns, a precise measurement of the particle size of the grind can significantly enhance our ability to communicate grind size more accurately. So in my opinion, a grind between 600 and 800 microns is considered medium. Grinds below 600 microns are considered medium fine or fine, while grinds above 800 microns are considered medium coarse. If the micron count indicates a size larger than 1000 microns, I'll classify it as coarse grind. I've discovered a very useful tool on honestcoffeeguide.com, a coffee grind size chart for various grinders. This chart helps us create more replicable recipes across different grinders. If you've ever struggled to match someone else's grind size in microns, this might be your solution. I'll provide the link in the description for the tools. The next key focus that we should give attention about the grind size is that the right grind size solves 80% of coffee brewing problems. If your coffee is far off, or in other words, doesn't taste like you expect it to, for instance, if it's too sour or too bitter, too weak or too dry, it's likely not your water or your dose. Instead of overcomplicating things, start by adjusting your grind size. So let's say you have a coffee that tastes sour and under-extracted. Instead of adding more coffee or increasing your water temperature, the first thing you should try is adjusting your grind. A finer grind slows down the water flow, allowing for more extraction because the more contact time, which brings out more sweetness and balance. On the flip side, if your coffee is too bitter, your grind is probably too fine, causing the over-extraction. Cautioning the grind speeds up the flow and reduces extraction, bringing back the clarity and the brightness of the coffee. So, a lot of people try to fix their coffee by changing multiple factors at once: temperature, ratio, pouring technique, but in most cases, just adjusting your grind will fix 80% of your brew issues. So, before do anything else, fix your grind first. If you feel like you are almost there to achieving the final cup you expected, it's likely that your grind size is accurate. Then you can play with another variables to tweak. Okay, so we've discussed a lot about grind size, and now let's talk about the tools that help us achieve the right grind size, which is the grinder. In the beginning of the video, I seriously recommend to you guys to invest in a great capable grinder. If there's one piece of coffee gear that will level up your brewing the most, it's a good grinder. A high-quality burr grinder gives you consistent grind sizes, which means better control over extraction and more repeatable brews. And you know, in today's market, there are numerous options for great grinder. Whether you prefer manual grinding or an electric burr grinder to save your time, you are spoiled to a lot of choice these days. Personally, for me, I prefer manual grinding and have two manual grinders that I use for daily brews. This isn't an endorsement, by the way, but I'm very satisfied with these two products. So, the first grinder is the EasyPresso GX Pro, which I purchased in early 2021, I think. I recently left it at home to use it as my main grinder. The GX Pro has a very precise micro adjustment feature, which allowing you to dial it for espresso and produces a great grind suitable for manual brew as well. The other grinder I bought recently is the Taimo Chestnut S3. I purchased it in late 2024, and this grinder is excellent at producing consistent grinds for manual brewing. And unlike the GX Pro, the S3 truly focuses on manual brewing and doesn't seem to be designed for espresso. Considering its price point, it offers a lot of value if you consider it as your first serious grinder to elevate your coffee game at home. Another highly recommended manual grinder is the Comandante C4T. This hand grinder has become the industry standard, and I think it doesn't require any further explanation of why it excels at producing high quality and consistent grind sizes for manual brewing. For electric burr grinder, you also have a lot of options there in the market, obviously in various price range. Grinder market is so full of choices now, so make sure that you invest in grinders that suits your needs the most. All of that concept about grind size and finding the right grinder for you comes down to this last point that we will talk about. Uniform grind size ensures uniform extraction. From a chemistry perspective, uniform grind size means uniform extraction. When all coffee particles are the same size, they extract at the same rate, leading to a balanced, even testing cup. But if you have a mix of fine and coarse particles, you'll get over-extracted bitterness from the fines and under-extracted sourness from the coarser bits, resulting in an imbalanced brew. But don't get me wrong, coffee is not pure science, there's an art in it. The variation of grind size also plays a crucial role in the extraction to create a complex layered flavor and aroma that shapes your final cup. This will be related with particle size distribution in the coffee grind size, which can be one separate video if we talk about that. Grind size is more than just a setting. It's the key to unlocking better coffee. It dictates how you brew, it changes your cup's flavor, it solves most brew issues, and a good grinder will make all the difference. In the next episode, we'll dive into the kinetic energy which relate to agitation and turbulence, how stirring, swirling, and pouring techniques affect the extraction. And if you found this helpful, hit like and subscribe, and let me know in the comments what's your go-to grind setting for pour over, and see you in the next one. Cheers!